It, we have some changes today because we have one of our speaker is unfortunately ill, and one of our speaker will be late. So the order of speakers are changing, but the training will be done this morning. So what is this innovation as a service for Danube region project? Innovation as a service is is innovation as a service, which is for accelerated innovation and industrial transition in the industrial, rural, and remote areas with low innovation capacity in the Danube region. The priority of the program is to have a more competitive and smarter Danube region. And our specific objective is to enhance innovation and technology transfer in the Danube region. Our project started 1 year ago and lasts for 30 months. We have 16 project partners from 11 countries from the Danube region. Our consortium consists of Slovakian, German, Slovenian, Hungarian, Croatian, Austrian, Czech, Bosnian and Herzegovinian, Romanian, and Montenegrin partners from Montenegro. Unfortunately, our Ukrainian partners step out from this project. So what is the IaaS4 Danube region? It is the innovation as a service through accelerated innovation and industrial transition in the industrial, rural, and remote areas in the Danube region, because we think there is low innovation capacity in these areas. We have identified the main typical challenges in these areas. For example, the lack of skilled workers, the structural changes, and the innovation risk and culture is below average. The overall objective of the project is to deliver locally, durably improved and integrated innovation support services with different service providers who combine their services, which are going significantly beyond what they can do by building on their own limited resources. In the project, we have 3 work packages. The components of the IaaS projects are outsourcing innovation management, access to expertise and infrastructures, accelerated innovation processes, and the continuous learning and improvement. The first work package is the IaaS nodes, which are deliver innovation support with improved governance and capacity. The second work package is the IaaS Academy, which is a transnational capacity building program for the IaaS professionals. And the third work package is the transnational accelerator. In this work package, we implement pilot programs. In the first work package, we have 3 activities. We implemented a common framework for innovation support services and implemented a toolbox and service portfolio. And we set up the IaaS nodes in each region, bundling them to support innovation and industrial transformation. In the second work package, we have 5 activities. We have identified the training needs in each regions and implemented a training program for the transfer of knowledge. This training is part of this activity. We have more study visits in the regions. we will have a blended learning platform, and these activities implement a sustainable transnational professional community, the IaaS Academy. We will have 2 pilot actions, the training sessions and the study visits, and the testing the setup of the transnational community providers and professionals for these regions. We have core and advanced trainings in the IaaS Academy. The core trainings last for 3 hours, 9 times in different topics, as you can see in the presentation. And the advanced trainings give us a deeper knowledge. These are all-day trainings, and we will have 4 advanced trainings throughout the summer and in the early autumn. And the agenda of this day is, so you can see the agenda of this day in this PPT, this slide. As I mentioned that Zeika Ricard from Terra Technopolis is unfortunately ill, so she can't be here. Our first presenter will be Helena Nikolashevich from Terra Technopolis. She will speak about Erasmus for young entrepreneurs. And we have some changes in the order of speakers. So after this, Jan Tuchor will present from University of West Bohemia, then Kozmina Moskelu from the Northeast Regional Development Agency, and the last speaker will be Gál Körmendi from Central Transdanubian Regional Innovation Agency. So have a nice day. We are waiting for your questions after the presentations. It could be an interactive day. And Helena, please start your presentation, and thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. Let me first share my screen. Okay, can you see the presentation? If someone can confirm.
No.
No. Just a second then. Okay.
Yes, now it's good.
Okay, great. As I said, my colleague is ill, so I will start first by presenting the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program, or shortly I. So let me first introduce myself. My name is Helena Nikolashevich. I work for Terra Technopolis, and my main project is this program. So if you have any questions about it, you feel free to ask me, because as I said, I lead this program. So, okay. So first I will briefly introduce the program itself. So what is Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs? It is an international business exchange program between new and experienced entrepreneurs. So the entrepreneurs collaborate for a period of up to just a second. Sorry, I didn't realize that it wasn't in the presentation mode. Okay, so as I said, it is an exchange between new and experienced entrepreneurs, and they can collaborate for a period of 1 to 6 months. So minimum 1 month and maximum 6 months. And there they gather and exchange knowledge and business ideas that are necessary to start or continue running a newly opened business. Okay, so who is TERA in this program? We are one of the many intermediary organizations, and we have been one since 2015. So as a contact point for Croatia, we participate in the exchanges, and we carry you through the entire process. So from the application to the exchange and to the end of the exchange, and obviously we are available for you after the exchange ends. In this way, we have helped create many success stories, collaborations, and ventures. So the participating countries in the program are all EU countries and some additional countries like Serbia, Bosnia, Ukraine, Albania, and others. And as of February 1st of this year, also UK, USA, Canada, and Singapore. So you can have an exchange in any of these countries. So now who can participate? You can participate as a new entrepreneur, or shortly NE, or a host entrepreneur, HE. So to be an NE, you have to be an aspiring entrepreneur and have a business plan, but under 3 years of entrepreneurial experience. And the most important part is that you have to be motivated to learn from an experienced entrepreneur who is the host. And as a host, you have to be you have to have over 3 years of entrepreneurial experience, and you obviously have to have your own business, and you have to be motivated to mentor a young entrepreneur. And also the age eligibility is you have to be over the age of 18. So there is no maximum limit. You can be 65 and have an exchange as a new entrepreneur if you mark all these rules. So the success rate, the current success rate of the program, in the past 15 years of the program, there have been almost 13,000 exchanges and over 53,000 applications. So as you can see, the program is very successful, but obviously there is always room for more. And these are the achievements of the program. The program addressed youth unemployment. It offers practical support to SMEs. It strengthens single market connections, and it helped create new businesses and encouraged business development and innovation. So this is everything about the program. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. You can ask me now, or if you want to ask later in more detail, you can also contact me on these emails or call me on my phone. Thank you for your attention, and I am excited to hear from you.
Thank you for your presentation, and I would like to ask the participants that do you have any question?
Yeah, if I may. Hello.
Hi.
Who else, right? I will ask if the TERA is actually initiating such initiatives, or they are just a partner. So,
we are a partner in this program, yes.
and do you, let's say, give topics to be developed, or which fields, or I mean, how you decide to participate? Do you have this need from entrepreneurial side, or you get call from foreign partners if you have interest in that, and then you organize it on your side, or how is it? I mean, if you initialize it, or you are just taking the challenges from others and check upon interest in your region, how is it done?
Well, so far we have mainly been partners in many programs. We have been in this program for the past 10 years, actually. So yeah, we are obviously always open to initiate projects, but currently we have participated mainly as partners, but we are open to many different areas because we had we have been partners in entrepreneurial projects, in innovative projects, in agricultural projects. So yeah, we are open to many fields and we have experience in many fields.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other question? If not, then thank you for your interesting presentation. And I'd like to ask Jan Tilichor from University of West Bohemia to take your presentation.
So hello everybody. As well, I will try to share my slides first. So I hope you can see them, and well, I'd like to start my presentation on the general topic of obviously of this training session, market and business development, and I will try to share with you a few thoughts about possibilities of companies to enter new markets. I will try to show you then in the end of the lecture some examples of successful stories of maybe some not so successful stories as well, because I think they are important. I'm an assistant professor at the Department of Marketing, Trade and Services at the Faculty of Economics, University of West Bohemia. And therefore, my examples will be more or less based on my background in the Czech Republic. So a lot of the examples will be Czech companies trying to enter into new markets. Some of them enter the markets of in your countries as well. So that's the focus. Obviously, I don't have so much overview about brands, firm companies entering other markets from your own countries. But I guess in general, the approaches will be very common. But the summary you have read. Firstly, it has to be stated that some companies, some firms might not want to expand. They might be really happy that in their own location, there's a bakery, a baker who is running a bakery. He's totally fine with what he does or she does, and he doesn't want to expand. And that's fair enough. The next thing is there might be a lot of strategies, and with more and more insights into it, I can't really tell you which might work. There might be higher probability of some, but the cases from the business show you that even somebody who is handling totally against all recommendations might be successful in the market in the end. So that's next thing which needs to be done. So I wouldn't say if you do this, that will work, because that might not be the truth in today's world, which is very dynamic and fast changing. And some examples I'm showing now, will be showing later on, might not be good examples in 2 months, maybe, and maybe in half a year. That's about it. Each business can choose to expand within its own country, so nationally, or going international. Both has some advantages and disadvantages, but absolutely crucial is to do at least a little bit strategic planning before doing it and before trying to expand, because expansion is always a risky business, and if you don't think it at least a little bit through, then you might not be successful. So that's one thing. So therefore, the start of my lecture, of my training, is a little more theoretical. Yeah, well, if I'm from a university, you might want to expect that, and then we move to some examples. I chose the Ansoff matrix. As you can see, it's very old business, 1960s, where it has been developed, but it still counts, and it still works. In general, because if some company would love to expand, you either take the product you have and you search for new markets, or you also can simply within the market you are try to find new customers, or you start with a new product, new service, an innovative way, and you either again put it into the market you know already you are, or you simply search for a new one. And again, in reality, a mix of those approaches might be applied. If you want to read a little bit more, I just have here the links. You will get my slides later on, of course, so you can read it through, because I don't want to go deep into this strategies, but it's the basic one you can or each business can start with, not even business. If I spoke about strategic planning, then the procedure is all the time the same. Might be for a lot of you nothing new, but it's still important to think about it first, and which is not there. You have to have the vision of the company. So I want to expand? Is it my intention? Is it my intention to go somewhere else? Do I want to grow? Because obviously, some businesses might decide not to grow, simply stay in the market as they are, happily driving profits they are okay with, and they just have to, let's say, defend their position. Might be possible. They cannot not develop in the end. You have to keep changing based on the changes around you. So even there, even with our expansion, a situation analysis, looking around, looking at the internal environment and also the external environment is important. The famous strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats matrix might be the outcome of such analysis. You can use very well some other visualization of this analysis. It has to be done continuously. You cannot simply do analysis first and then don't look at the environment at all later on. That's one of the failures a lot of companies would do, because they lack the knowledge of the changes. So you have to do it continuously. Then, of course, when you know where you are, what you are, how much money you have, how much human capital you possess or can get, you might think about moving somewhere else. So defining objectives, of course, they should be hand in hand of the company. So business missions, goals, visions, they should always be in line. Then this development of strategy should come as the next step. Some tactical activities, I have here as example, marketing mix, of course, should go on. You should have some kind of an implementation plan, and of course, always measure, or at least look where you are, look whether it runs how you plan it, whether your metrics are okay. It can happen that a new market entrance, expansion might not work, and it's always good to find out earlier rather than later, because it costs you simply less money if you find earlier. That's why you have to look at it. That's why you have to measure. That's why you have to keep an eye on what's going on, so that you don't burn too much money, too much of your resources. And the money in the end might not be the most important resource a company has. Good. It is always good to know if I want to, and now I'm more in the strategy, entering new markets, expansions, and so on. There's two principles. The top-down principle, so you understand the economy, you understand the market itself, and then you try to estimate your potential market of your company and address your product to your potential customers. So Czech Republic, and you have understanding of the economies of the segments, customer segments, and then you enter it. Or you do it the other way around. You know what you have as a product, which is pretty usual in a company. You know your customers, and so you have the addressability. You know who your customers are, what you are. That's should be pretty easy for a company. Then you try to understand how the entire market works, and then you go on further on the specifics, and you basically search for markets, for customers which are common to your own. It might work very often. Sometimes there might be some challenges to be overcome when entering a new country. I will highlight that later on as well. Again, there is a link where you can read a little bit more about those approaches, because in the end, you start with all the potential customers, which here is again a pretty general and common method. It's your potential market, so potential customers, and then you end up making it smaller and smaller so that you end up in the obtainable market or serviceable market. So the customers you can, as a company, really serve. So if I have a bakery, as I said, well, obviously, almost everyone in the Czech Republic in the Danube region needs some bread or something like that. But I will definitely not be able to serve everyone from, for example, Plzeň or where I am right now, because the region is pretty big. So I end up limiting the customers I have, defining my potential markets. It's always to have the knowledge about how big the market is in general, to which extent I can grow, because if I'm planning an investment, a logistics center, a logistic hub for my e-shop or something like that, if I want to enter a new country, I should know about the size. I should know about how big I should go, how big I should plan, and what's possible to achieve. And that are hard decisions. They are very risky, but they have to be done. And again, it depends whether you are a businessman who takes a lot of risks and you simply go ahead and do it with a lot of risk, or whether you decide to grow slow but sustainable in a decent manner. That depends on the choices within the business. Sometimes the businessman might not influence the choice because the investors might push him or her to a faster growth and so on. Even though we have a lot of similarities in today's world, there is also a lot of differences within the countries and sometimes within the regions in a country that can influence the success of some market expansion. So the economic landscape, the key industries should be looked at during the let's say first analysis, business climate, investment attractiveness, labor market, infrastructure, taxation. That are things companies take into account when deciding about expansions, and they should be at least noted. At least fast brief overview should be done. Very often, most of the countries in Europe would have some development agencies, some business information or supporting agencies where simply businesses can help themselves. There's a lot of service organizations, because more or less each country, each region would like to have new investors, new companies working on a business, new companies providing working places. So there is a lot of businesses, a lot of companies who help businesses to grow. I guess a lot of them are part of this project as well. So you know what I'm speaking about. Of course, I should look at the trends at the major trade partners as well. That's important as well. Do I have the possibility to have some cooperating companies going with me? Can I find if, for example, logistics is important for me, can I find logistic partners in the country, in the region I want to expand? And of course, the company has to consider regional differences. For example, the market maturity. It might be that in some countries, the markets they are aiming are less developed or more developed. And in both cases, immature market might be interesting to enter because you will be the first one there, obviously. Sometimes, and I will show you later on, a immature market or not so developed market might harm the expansion as well. And there is regional differences. There's even regional differences within Czech Republic, within Romania, within Slovakia, which needs to be taken into account when expanding. Because something that works at some place in one market might not work in the other one if you forget about the differences. Also, I speak about regional differences, having in mind communication differences, cultural differences, different religions, which might which has to be taken into account, and so on. So I spoke about importance of market analysis. It is good to look, if you want to succeed, definitely at the local consumer behavior, because people in Czech Republic might have different values, might have different consumer behavior than people in Austria, Germany, US, depending where you want to access. So that's very important to know. There might be some traditions, there might be some purchasing habits. There's, of course, competitive landscape which differs from region to region, from country to country. The sizes are different. Of course, the political stability might be a factor nowadays, economic stability as well. All kinds of legislation measures which need to be taken into account in B2C business, for example, consumer protection laws. I mean, we still have a lot of common within the EU, but even though there is differences which needs to be accepted by the companies simply. Pricing strategy would be something to be said. Of course, intellectual property rights should be taken into account. There might be a competitor of the same name. There might be something licensed, and you should, again, do at least a brief analysis. I mean, it can be for a smaller company, simply just Google it, because a in-depth analysis will be for a fast-moving business simply too slow, too expensive. So some companies decide simply, well, I go ahead, I try it, maybe somebody complains. That might be a approach for some companies which they run, especially in service sector. There is not so much property rights protections in active, so that might be pretty okay way to go. In some businesses, a thorough analysis should be done as well, because then you might avoid trouble later on in the business. And for example, you might be forced, for example, to rebrand, to change the brand names, and that's always in the end more expensive than to do proper analysis ahead. But as I said, some businesses I know, they just go to and disregarding anything, and some others do a in-depth analysis, and it really depends on the sector of the economy they are aiming to. There might not be the best strategy, but you always have to look at the cost and potentials of profits. And definitely, companies which are aiming on in B2B markets might have a different expansion strategies and approaches than companies in B2C markets. That's pretty sure. I was thinking about some easy to go instruments of analysis, and one of them, I think it's interesting. It's position perception map or metrics. Here, with example of brands of clothing, because I thought most of you might know them. And there is this matrix or this perception map. The very classical is price quality approach. So there is companies running high price and high quality. There might be some low price, low quality companies. They might also be different approaches. We want to look into the strategies of these companies, but on the importance to know what the competitive background is in the market. And if you try to enter a new market, you should do at least a little bit of a research on your competition. And as I said, I like instruments which can be printed on one A4 sheet simply, and I see everything in it. And perception map is one of them. It's perception or position map. So maybe some of you don't see Marks and Spencer, high quality, high price. And it's also selection of it. And maybe in one country, and it's, for example, Czech Republic, and the position of North Face or Timberland brands in clothing sector, they are way higher priced and higher and estimated with a higher quality in comparison to US markets. There is North Face is just usual brand, normal priced. In Czech Republic, they're high priced and perceived as high quality. So even from market to market, the brand position might change. So that is something where you can do it. The position map, you can choose different variables. You don't have to look at price and quality. You can look maybe environmental friendliness versus price, whatsoever. It really depends on what you want to compare. And it's nice to do it. It can be done even easily from scratch, simply to look. It's perception map, so that's how customers see, not how you perceive yourself. So one example, there's a lot of examples with car brands. I decided to use clothing as an example now. And of course, each company needs to look internally on when expanding. Of course, you want to expand somewhere where you see long-term profits, whereas long-term and strategy is nowadays very short because, well, you have to be reactive to what happens to the environment. You have to look at your costs and keeping them under control. That's very often the reason for failure, to high costs, which were unexpected for some reasons. You should consider your products. Will they be okay in the new market? Will there be demand for them? Is there market? Is there customers for them? That's pretty sure. And sufficiency of resources. It's not just about money. There is plenty of money in today's world, but human capital might be missing. Some logistics, buildings might not be viable for the price, for the cost you want to have them, or as fast as you want to have them. And that's why proper planning is important. So there's always, which needs to be considered in the company. Can I get more people? Can I have more skilled people, more human capital of which I need? And that might be very often, of course, the reason why not to expand, because simply you don't see the resources. Pros and cons, I just found out few things which I might think about advantages of expanding business. There is also disadvantages. It's always needs to be considered. So new customers, economies of scale, usage, some increasing influence. In some cases, even the expansion can reduce overall risks, because then you are standing not on just one leg, but you have a table with 4 legs, four markets. And if one market, one product staggers, the other one can save it. It depends. On the other hand, of course, more risks can be a disadvantage as well. you need investment, you might lose some control. I might show you a little bit of an example where losing control might have led to not so successful presence on the market. Goes very clear. You enter unfamiliar markets, not even internationally, but even nationally. You might go somewhere which you don't know the conditions, and that might lead to a failure. Well, challenges, I spoke about them already, just to have them at once. Regulatory barriers, cultural consumer behavior, competition, local market dynamics, logistics. You might see some branding mistakes, some market position issues as well. As I'm from the part of marketing, that's obviously something I like to look at the most. The challenges, well, sometimes being too quick is not so good. Sometimes being too slow harms the future development as well. It depends on the type of company, on the type of the product. Currency exchange rates is something I did not mention yet. Time zone difference, if you go overseas, might be troublesome as well. Communication barriers occur all the time. That's for sure. And the brand consistency, it depends. There can be more strategies on that when expanding. And as I said, a lot of them and a lot of different of them are successful, and the same the same strategy of one business might be wrong one to the other. Strategies for success when expanding. Of course, sometimes it might be okay to simply overcome the trouble, bringing some cooperation partners, some partners into business, being it joint ventures, being it franchises. Sometimes simply if you do a franchise business, especially in services, and you bring in local colleagues to the company, might help you to overcome the cultural barriers, the communication barriers, because locals can help you there. Sometimes you need to adapt to local needs, to local tastes, to local preferences. Sometimes online platforms might help you. Brand presence is always important. And if there is any incentives from governments, if there's any possibilities to let you help from some others, just go ahead and use it, would be my my advice. Okay, now to the promised examples. I chose Rohlik, which is present nowadays in Germany, known as Knusper in Austria, known as Gürkel, in Romania as Sesamo, in Hungary as Kifli. So you see, they localize the name of the business for each country, choosing a specific product. Okay, in Germany, Knusper doesn't really work like this. But the branding approach is basically the same in all the countries. So they are not using the same name, which later on you will see some companies do. It has been founded 2014. The first 5 years they were, let's say, expanding within Czech Republic. They moved international 2019. They're still growing. They also grow through acquisitions. And they say they are right now the biggest online grocery store in Europe. If it's true or not, I cannot validate. But it's one example of a Czech company simply going to other countries step by step, and in my eyes, with a clear branding strategy. So for me, right now, success story. Even they are on German market, they have right now 2 logistic hubs, so they are totally not covering all Germany. I'm living in a small town in the Czech Republic, and they are not covering my town either, because we are too small for them. So they just pick their markets very carefully and expand wisely, although very, very fast with a lot of investments in the end. So good example is another Czech company, Pilulka, which is a online and offline pharmacy, which again moved or tried to move to, okay, Slovakia would be for Czech companies a known market. So first steps of Czech companies usually go to Slovakia because the communication barrier is smaller. But they went to Romania, Hungary, and Austria as Pilulka, which from my understanding is not such a great move to use Czech brand there. Now they are off those countries. They stopped it because they are now in trouble. Probably because they are in a business which, to my understanding right now, maybe needs to have an online and also offline pharmacies. Just to be online might not be a wise strategy as I see it from the customer behavior. Maybe in some countries the market maturity was not there yet, so they might be too early in those countries. It's medicine, it's pharmacy, so there is a lot of regulations, and maybe the legislation in the countries did not go as fast as possible, as needed for them to find profits. The expansion has been financed, and that's pretty uncommon with IPO. But their shares went from 1,800 crowns to 100 crowns, so like 18 times less than in the beginning. So nowadays they are in trouble. They are trying to save the company. They cut all the expansions. They remained in Czech Republic and Slovakia, where they have online and offline pharmacy. And right now they are changing owners. The owner of Rohlík is entering the market, obviously setting up and using the logistics they have to help this business as well. Nice move of him. But it's interesting because the founders, they opened like one of the first e-shops in the Czech Republic. They sold it in the end. They were really they really know what they are doing, and they were successful earlier, but this business simply didn't work out. A lot of people state that the expansion was too fast, not thought through. So that's why right now they are still okay. They still run the business, but they have half of the size of the company. And it will be interesting to see whether they join Rohlík on their expansion as well at some point, using some synergies in the business model. So that's why I took it as well. We might observe. Amazon and eBay, I chose this big multinationals, and Czech market. Amazon, eBay were too slow because the market is small. Czech is special language. Who would try to open up a logistics hubs in 10 million country when you can serve hundreds of millions countries? So they were too late here. And in online market, very often first come first serve strategy is there. So Allegro Group originating from Poland is the local competition. In Czech Republic there is a lot of national big e-shops which can outplay Amazon for now. Even though we have some logistics up of Amazon in the Czech Republic, they're really not strong in the market. With eBay, maybe in the Czech Republic, the people might like new products rather than used products. That's one possible explanation as well. But again, eBay was simply too slow to enter the markets, and local competition arise, and they're not able to gain potential. Interesting is example of Google, who back in 2009, has been losing. There's been 5 markets in the world where Google was not number 1. So Google simply came to Czech Republic and really tried to outcompete Seznamce as the biggest full search provider in the Czech Republic, and also advertisement provider online. Finally, they are now number one, of course, but they really pushed hard in the market. They really came in and learned what and why they were losing the share in the market. So Google really concentrated on to be number one in Czech Republic. So I guess investing way more than the Czech market is worth, but they really wanted to be the winners there. So it was interesting. The same story was in Russia, China. There has been a strong local competition by the time they started the business and they started to expand. So, but another approach of a multinational to Czech market, for example. I have one more example of which I don't know, it's still working, but I don't think it will be long lasting, which, well, makes me sad because it's one alumni from my faculty founding this business. They founded a Pilsner unique bar, as they call it. So that was restaurants where you can self-tap beer. It was founded 2005. They have had like 2 restaurants in Plzeň starting there, then developing a franchise concept. But so that's the way how to grow in services. But right now I see they are retreating from some locations. The initial place in Plzeň, there's none of them. And they right now are in Prague, Spindlerům, Berlin, Bucharest, newly obviously, with one restaurant. So obviously aiming on tourist destinations. And I guess COVID-19 played a role, and I guess change in the consumer behavior. The new generation, the younger generation, does not drink so much beer, is not so heavy drinkers of beer. The concept was not low priced. It has been done, it's like on competition. And right now, obviously, this concept of consumption does not work unless you are in a tourist company where still people come to drink. So that's one example I just found that, well, something which has been very, very successful earlier on simply cease to grow right now. Notino, another Czech company, there's an example of rebranding because of international expansion. They have been founded 2004 as Parfums.cz, online shopping perfumes right now in 27 European countries. As Notino, they changed the brands in order to be able to expand. And of course, Parfums.cz also limits you with the domain name just to perfumes, and they might want to sell a little bit more. I have 2 more examples of that as well. A successful company. They have some trouble. They have been accused of falsing on some brands. I don't know whether it's true or not, but there is some shady stories about them as well. But they seem to be successful. They have over 1 billion euros turnover right now, so pretty big. The market share in Czech Republic right now is at 14% of their turnover is made in Czech Republic, so they really grew fast and nicely. I have here 2 more examples of branding trouble. Slevomat is the local version of Groupon, and again, Groupon wouldn't make it. They have been first in the Czech market, and they are the biggest ones. But the point is that sleva in Czech means discount. And another example is nejlevnější pneu.cz, which is in translation cheapest tires. Yeah, well, but at some point, the cheap business, the discount business, wasn't enough for them. They needed to grow. But with this brand name, I mean, if you are selling cheapest tires, well, to sell premium tires is kind of problematic. So they really need to work on their rebranding, on their expanding the understanding of a brand that cheap doesn't mean low quality in that case. And they kept the name, but in my eyes, they were successful that customers right now understand them. Okay, I want to have a nice, a good thing to go. I go to Silverman, even if it means discount or cheap. I still can get premium things over there, and it's fine. So sometimes there would be the advice: think ahead, and if you want to be the cheapest one, think that at some point you might sell premium brands, and the cheapest ones is not anymore the right positioning in there. There's several approaches how to overcome that, but they chose to work with the old brand name because the brand perception was simply too high to change it. The rebranding might not work. I understand that, did a good job, and they expanded the business still. More examples. Look at McDonald's, what they do. In each country you are, McDonald's very often offers some local tastes, some local specials. In Czech Republic, they have fried cheese. They might have special burger there and there, so they are adapting to the customers. They bring in some specialties, adapting to the markets. Better example is Carrefour. They were simply too high priced for Czech Republic, bad location choice, they are off market. The story of big chains is the same in almost each country in Central Europe. Airbnb and Uber, there might be companies which are really facing strong regulations. In some cities, in some countries, they are banned, basically. So it's an example of how regulation can ban your business. Decathlon and Action, on the other hand, right now they have, at least in the Czech Republic, are very successful, and the strategy is to be cheap, to be affordable, but with decent quality. That seemed to be working in Central European markets. Netflix has been struggling, but they had to add local language content. They're very successful just with English content. They get way more customers when they edit local language contents, which seems to be important for our markets as well. So again, one example, the entry was not so good, but it's a huge company. They can stand if something does not expand as fast as they thought through. As soon as they edit local language content, they might have more customers. And it's, again, something from branding, some example of wrong names like Pajero, Mitsubishi, which needed to be rebranded in Spain because that has been a vulgar insult in Spanish. So wrong choice. A Czech brand of clothing, which brand name was Pietro Filippi. So they wanted to look Italian because Italians are really good in clothing, but they were based in Czech Republic. Nice move on that. Very often you choose German name to be high quality, being from somewhere else, a good strategy. Häagen-Dazs in US should be Scandinavian, but it's pure Americanized cream, but it works. Red Bull is from Austria. Nobody actually knows that because they, from beginning on, were thinking and were doing a world brand, global brand, not just a regional one. And that's my last slide. I cannot end up without Škoda and Dacia as examples. They are owned by multinationals, but I bring them in because they have a clear positioning. They have clear customers, and their business still seem to work, even in this tough car business for now. And obviously some values those two brands bring to the market seems to be accepted on even more developed countries, and they are successful even in Germany, in Switzerland, and so on. They have some value proposition the customers like. But I don't have a deeper insight on their business. Škoda seems to run right now. How it will be long term, we will get to see. But that's not really the small business case, but example of values of brands. Okay, that would be my last slide I prepared, and I'm happy to answer your questions if there is some.
Thank you, Jan. It was very interesting and useful, I think. I ask participants to have your questions, please. Cosmina, we can't hear you if you speak to us. Nobody. Oh,
Everything seems to be very correct.
Hey,
Like
can I
everybody
ask a
agrees,
question?
so that's good stuff.
I can ask a question, yes?
Yes,
Hi,
sure.
yeah, thank you. I just want to ask anything in particular for market development and how to increase the outreach in places which are rather small or undeveloped with limited connectivity, like in some, I mean, there is a plentitude of great ideas coming from, I guess, smaller places and communities. But usually at some stage of development or visions, they give up because you know, there's limited resources, ideas, and chances to expand the business. So anything that you think could help this, because this is also the underlying theme of the project. So
Yeah. Nice questions. And that's something I forgot while preparation. Sorry for that. I should be more specific towards your project. But I was hoping to pick at least something interesting. But well, I think one of the stuff is simply to find partners to cooperate. That might be one way how to overcome maybe lack of resources and so on. That's one thing. Second thing, in the underdeveloped regions, at least in the Czech Republic, I still think that the good old approaches might be working, because the big markets they move some ways, but in the rural areas we have some niches. We have, as you said, not so good connectivity, nothing like that. So maybe like traditional business idea which were dumped by the big ones might be actually in an adapted way still useful for some of the regions which are not so developed. So we very often, I guess, move too fast forward with new ideas, and maybe a good old way how to do business might still work in the less developed areas. Of course, that means they might not run, you might not run the biggest profits as the first ones, but I would say who cares in that end. That's the first thing. And second thing, if you want to be successful, and there's a lot of Czech guys simply going to Silicon Valley, well, then they go. You can do that, but I guess maybe sometimes not to jump on the newest developments might be okay, but the point is the traditional ways sometimes tend to be too costly, too expensive to be done. And if we are doing a research on small villages and how to bring in some grocery stores, and basically in the end the strategy ends up that people go anywhere else to shop, and within the community there is they either help each other, or you are in need of some support. Maybe you can but it's a hard question. It's a hard question. Sometimes simply be aware that there is so many communities of the same, so that you can expand looking at those communities, because you know what works in one underdeveloped region, and there is more of them, and that's a potential market as well. Because they don't look attractive enough for big companies, but it can be attractive for smaller ones who knows how the business is being done there. But really to have a miracle solution, I don't have it.
of course, thank you. You already gave me an idea to name a product, a local product with a French name. That would do the trick, or Scandinavian name. So it might work. Thank you.
thank you.
I have a question, if it's possible.
Yes, please.
Hi. Sorry for my voice. I'm fighting a flu. My question actually is not more as a question, but more to ask your opinion, because I'm sure that you noticed as well as companies have noticed that the younger generation has a different buying habit than our generation or our parents' generation. They tend to, let's say, stay at home longer with their parents. They don't go that much out. And like you said, the beer industry is the first one that has been affected. Sorry, just a second. Sorry for my phone. So there are changes in shopping behavior of the younger generation, and I'm wondering, what is your opinion? How do you think the companies will react in the future? Younger generation tend to go to the traditional side of things. They are not that much open to innovation like they used to be, but companies still consider their clients as dynamic, driven people, young people, ready to embrace challenges and things like this. So I'm wondering, what's your opinion of this? How do you think things will be in the future in terms of companies' approach towards the young generation?
A great question. I come with a comparison because a lot of companies cannot target the older generation either. Yeah, and that's why I say, I mean, we have in most countries we have aging society, and yet all the trends are going to e-business, but some of the people might not be able to use it, and they stick to traditions. Great observation is that the younger generation at some point behaves very interestingly. They are very often more at home, more doing, more looking regional, more knitting and whatsoever. So coming back to traditions in the end, that's my observation as well. On the other hand, being totally mobile and online with the other stuff. And in that case, my observation, and I'm let's say special in that. I mean, we have cycles. We see it in fashion. Sometimes these sweaters are nice. Sometimes something else you have to wear, and sometimes a beard is okay, and sometimes it is not. So I'm pretty sure that and in the company strategies we do see sometimes it's this ahead and that. So I guess the companies will simply adapt to it. They will find ways how to approach them, and if they have the knowledge of all the approaches, they might come back to them and simply refresh something which has been working, because we speak highly about customer relationship management. Well, it's something a good restaurant owner has been doing since 16th century. He knew their clients by names. Now we have it in an Excel sheet, but the successful approach is the same. So I guess the companies, they will adapt. They will see that there is something like that. We can see a lot of, but if you do your necklaces at home, that's what a lot of younger people do. Well, they do not trade them in normal markets, but they do trade them online. So basically, you see that, and I can see a development, for example, of such platforms then sharing with each other C2C businesses, so customer to customers, or peer-to-peer platforms seem to be there. We come back at some point to barter. So you give me a necklace, I teach you English, and so that's something which has been there for centuries, and now we are coming back to it. And I guess the reaction will be like this. But the point is, at some point in those companies, in the marketing agencies, the younger generations will be there, and they will know how to speak to their generation. Unfortunately, very often in consulting companies, very often in marketing agencies, just younger people are at work, and they are forgetting the older ones. Sometimes the advertisements looking at older generation or targeting older generation are just interestingly not speaking the language of them. On the other hand, But you are speaking about connectivity, about maturity of the market. In the Czech Republic, who was the one who basically brought all the generation to use smartphones and apps? It has been Lidl and their discount app. That meant like most of the older generation started to use technology because they wanted their discount. That was the right incentive. Well, nobody from the government thought that way, that you need to go incentive. And since then, every old woman and man are using it, kind of, if they are shopping in Lidl, and all the other ones as well, because that was the right incentive to find. And I guess with the younger generation, we are coming a little bit back. We are coming to be more local, which is definitely the chance. Yeah, well, on the other hand, and the market with honey, like everybody is selling homemade honey, and at some point, it's souvenir of any destination I go to, it's regional honey. At some point, we need to differentiate there as well, a little bit as well. Not saying it's not the regional specific, but it's you need to find competitive advantages, and I'm pretty sure they will adapt to the trend, and a lot of them adapted already, developing such trading platforms for them. And we shouldn't be forgetting we have this generation problems with every generation. You had it, I had it, my parents had it, my grandparents had it. They had argues, and the generation didn't know each other. Now we are just maybe too highlighting these differences right now. It has been always with us, and we always handled it. And we just need to adapt a little bit, to listen to the customers what they want, and try to give them what they want if we have money for it, and if it's not too costly, because customers can also adapt. This very often is being said, customers are the kings. Yeah, well, yes, but it has limits, and you don't need every customer. No way. So that's something which will be there. But what we are facing right now is that we have really huge information income, really huge possibilities how to do marketing, how to do advertising. Nothing really is off market. We still have radio, TV, we have internet, and the selection of the right audience or the right customers, it's increasingly problematic. And it can get costly if you do it incorrectly, and that's something for the companies is a new world. They are facing this choice challenge and information challenge. Everyone has too much of it, and I'm still by myself wondering how far it goes. But we can see it a little bit in the politics, I guess, in most of the countries. Simple communication, no in-depth communication. So obviously having more information means you don't accept them, and you stick to the first one, to the easy one, to the easy understood one. That's unfortunately the way the decision-making at the customer level goes, not only in politics, but in the other stuff. And that's, well, it's something we need to look at any aspect of our lives, and if somewhere a decision made according to marketing measures of somebody, that might work also in business, also in small companies, if you are communicating that way, because that's obviously how the customers behave, and we should look around. That's what the young generation does not do. So you have to find the right channel to speak to them, and it's problematic because they don't speak one, they don't read the same newspaper, they don't look at the same TV channel. It has been much easier earlier on. You have to be more specific while choosing your target audience.
Thank you so much. That was a very comprehensive answer, and it touches all the points of my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? If not, thank you, Jan.
You're welcome.
It was a great presentation. Thank you very much. And I would like to ask Cosmina Moscalu from the Northeast Regional Development Agency to take your presentation, please.
My name is Cosmina Moscalu, and I am an expert in the Department of Communication, Innovation, and External Cooperation within Northeast Regional Development Agency, Romania. And today I would like to share with you some insights on how our organization drives regional growth through our integrated services. I will also present key aspects of strategic communication branding, including practical examples. Next, we will explore the topic of networking and relationship building. Finally, I have prepared 2 case studies of best practices, one from the public sector and the other featuring local success story. The main role of Northeast RDA is to act as a regional development facilitator. Our agency fosters open and fair communication channels and collaborations with all representative of quadruple helix. Here we can include local public authorities, the academic sector and the private sector, and also civil society as well. But what exactly do you offer on the market? What are our services? We offer integrated services such as regional planning and programming. We manage regional development programs, and we serve as managing authority for the Northeast Regional Program 2021-2027. We are involved in identifying and implementing international projects. We also facilitate and develop regional, national, and international partnerships. Also, we promote and develop the regional entrepreneurial ecosystem. Also, develop, implement, and promote the smart specialization strategy in our region. We also are responsible for the regional marketing and promotion. So to conclude, we offer a wide range of services to support socioeconomic growth in our region. But in the context of today's course, I think the essential question is how do we promote all these services that we are offering? The answer seems very simple, through our brands. So our agency has created several brands and sub-brands, as you can see on this slide. Each brand corresponds to a specific type of service, allowing us to reach to our target audience. For instance, Regio Nord-Est is the brand created to promote our regional program. As I have already mentioned, we serve as managing authority for the Northeast Regional Program. Through this brand, we communicate the funding conditions. We also announce upcoming calls for proposal. We are bringing ourselves closer to the potential beneficiaries. We also provide help desk services, ensuring that our beneficiaries can rely on the funding opportunities offered through the program. Another example would be Ruby Hub. This brand falls under the development of the regional entrepreneurial ecosystem. This approach makes it easier for us to reach our target audience for each specific topic. However, the real question remains, how do we get closer to the market? I think an important aspect refers to building a strong collaboration network. Here we can talk about organizing meetings to facilitate dialogue, For instance, we started organizing less formal roundtables featuring a guest of honor who brings together multiple collaborators interested in a specific sector. Another powerful tool to get closer to the market is by increasing visibility and transparency. Regarding this topic, Northeast RDA organizes information sessions about funding opportunities. Another important approach is using technology to connect. We utilize social media and we are creating monthly newsletter in order to keep the community informed and to engage them to our services and messages. Another key approach is engaging directly with the community. For instance, we support local events. We are participating in regional initiative in order to strengthen our connection with the community. We also launch public consultation campaigns that gives us opportunity to get direct feedback from the stakeholders and understand better the needs of our stakeholders. And equally important is developing strategic partnerships. We are collaborating with universities in order to foster regional research and innovation. Furthermore, we engage in international projects to exchange best practices and enhance our regional development efforts. All these strategies, of course, require a promotion and good communication campaigns. As Barack Obama said, the best way to make change is to be a good communicator, to get your message across to people and to connect with them in a way that they feel heard and understood. Now I would like to highlight the key components of an effective communication campaign. Every successful communication campaign begins with the clear objectives. We have to answer to a question like, what are we trying to achieve? For us, the goals may include raising awareness about regional advantages or promoting funding opportunities and so on. Next, we must define our target audience. First, I think we need to identify very clear who they are. We should understand their needs and interests, and I think we should answer to the question, what kind of information or support are they looking for? Once we have a clear picture, then we can tailor our messages and we can reach to our target audience effectively. Defining our target audience help us to communicate better, build stronger connections, and achieve a greater impact in our communities. The heart of any campaign lies in its key messages. These messages should be clear and very impactful. The messages must capture attention and communicate the main idea effectively. A strong key message should answer to question as how should people respond, or what do we want to say through this message. So well-crafted key messages inspire action, build trust, and make a campaign successful. Now we have our key messages, but where do we deliver the messages? So the answer is channels really matter. Digital platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter allow us to reach to our specific audience while newsletter and webinars keep engagement active. Also, traditional media such as radio and local newspaper can also be effective if you want to transmit a message to your community. Lastly, in-person and hybrid events can create very valuable opportunities for real connections and also for networking. In my opinion, one of the most powerful tools we have is storytelling, and another important tool is engaging stakeholders to build trust. Today, I have prepared for you a local business success story that we promoted through our initiative called Reporter Regio. We are very proud of initiative because we highlight successful projects through the voices of their beneficiaries. These stories humanize our message and inspire action. And finally, no campaign is complete without measuring success. So we track website traffic, social media engagement, we measure our event attendance, and very important for us is to receive feedback from our participants in order to understand what's working and where we can improve. Now I would like to share with you information from our recent campaign conducted at the end of the last year, 2024. The campaign focused on the circular economy team as we are preparing to launch a pilot call under Northeast Regional Program to fund circular economy projects. We believe this call introduces new trends in our region, and that the public still has much to learn in terms of circular economy principles. The main goal of the campaign was to increase traffic to Northeast Regional Program website and also to inform SMEs about this funding call. To achieve this, as I mentioned before, we set clear targets. We aim to reach 3,000 unique visitors on the website during the campaign period. At the same time, we wanted to promote the circular economy call through engaging and informative short reels. These reels were published on the program's Facebook page, targeting audience in our region. The campaign was targeted persons between 21 and 55 years old from our region. The budget allocated was around 2,000 euros. And the campaign ran for 39 days from November to December 2024. To capture attention and ensure easy understanding, we focused on creating and distributing 8 short reels on our Facebook page. Each reel was designed to present specific aspects of the circular economy in a very simple and visually appealing way. The reels provided relevant information, making the content easy to grasp for a wider audience. 7 of the reels focused on our regional smart specializations domains, while 1 reel provided general insights into why circular economy is gaining so much attention lately. Each video lasted 1 minute, offering a snapshot of key elements within its topic and making informative and easy to digest for our target audience. The 7 thematic reels cover the following topics: agri-food and wood industry, sustainable textile industry, tourism, environment, industrial symbiosis, health, and IT&C. Additionally, the 8 Real answered to a fundamental question: why is the circular economy on everyone's lips? In order to maximize reach and engagement, we planned a paid Facebook ads campaign to increase traffic to our website. The campaign was structured over 39 days and targeted a specific audience segment with dedicated budget for each reel. Each thematic reels was promoted for 5 or 6 days, ensuring that the message reached the right audience at the right time. By combining strategic messaging, visual storytelling, and targeted promotion, we tried to create a campaign that not only attract more visitors, but also help businesses to understand the opportunities available to them. In this slide, you can see our KPIs of campaign. The general information reel, which ran throughout the entire campaign, had the highest number of views and clicks on our website. However, as a lesson learned, the duration was too long, so we could have stopped running it after 1 month. During the campaign period, the total number of visitors to the website increased by 70% comparing to the previous period. Additionally, the number of new visitors grew by 83%, which led to the achievement of this campaign. In conclusion, considering the results obtained in this promotional campaign, we believe that the objective has been achieved. And I hope you enjoyed and found the information from our campaign useful. Now let's wake up a little bit. I invite you to share your best tips and strategies for running a successful campaigns. So take 1 minute, please, and you can write down your ideas, and then we collect them and can be used in the next campaigns. Hai, de ce să-și pună? So I have problems in seeing the results. Okay.
I wasn't able to press submit, so
Me neither.
So we have so we have some responses. Like paid campaigns are more successfully generally. We should be sure about that we know and correct aim for the campaign. And another very good input is simple and local examples of fruitful initiatives, innovation, and ideas. So let's take with us all these opinions. And now let's turn to the another pillar of market and business development, networking and relationship building. In today's interconnected world, networking is not just a tool, it's a necessity. Why is networking important for business development? First of all, networking opens doors to new opportunities. Sometimes a simple handshake can lead to a life-changing deal. The second reason networking is important is that it helps professionals learn and grow. Networking allows for the exchange of knowledge and best practices, which can improve businesses' strategies. And I also like this because it is also a two-way learning experience. While sometimes you gain insights from other persons, your own experience may also inspire somebody. Another thing to consider is that networking builds trust and credibility. The truth is people prefer doing business with those they know, like, and trust. Furthermore, networking provides a strong support system. Whether you are facing challenges or celebrating success, having a professional network can ensure you are not navigating your journey alone. So mentors or peers can offer guidance and even practical solution to our complex problems. Finally, staying connected through networking helps you to stay updated. It allows professionals to keep track of industry trends and market dynamics. By maintaining strong connection, individuals can adapt more easily and remain relevant in the competitive environment. But how can we network effectively? This is a very difficult question, in my opinion. Of course, we all have experience and we all know that networking is not just about making connection, it's about building meaningful relationships and to create opportunities. But it's difficult to put it into practice. First of all, it's important to be genuine. All of us appreciate sincerity and this makes interaction more valuable. Another important aspect is to be proactive. Of course, the more you put yourself out there, the more chances you have to meet individuals who can help you grow. One golden rule of networking is to give before you receive. people are more likely to support those who have been generous and helpful to them. In today's digital world, leveraging technology is more important than ever. Platforms like LinkedIn or industry-specific forums can help us to meet easier person who can help you to grow. A quick online connection can lead to interesting discussions, collaboration, and even to create business partnership. And finally, following up is crucial from my point of view. A simple follow-up mail or message can keep the connection alive. To conclude, networking is not just about expanding your circle. It's about nurturing relationships that promote mutual growth. It's about learning, it's about sharing and evolving together. Especially said that the most successful businesses are not built only on the quality of the products, they are built on relationships. So let's step out of our comfort zones. Let's attend that event, let's make that phone call and reach out to the mentors that can change our lives. From my point of view, the theory is not so complicated, but for some of us, it is hard to put into practice sometimes. So I have included in my presentation some simple examples, easy icebreaker phrases that we can use in different situations. Maybe can help you sometime. A great way to start a general introduction could be a sentence like, "Hello, my name is Cosmina. What brings you to this event today?" Or a natural way to start a conversation after attending an event together with somebody can be like, "The speaker was really insightful. What did you think of it?" Or we can use a friendly approach, such as, "Have you traveled far to be here today?" When we are delivering icebreakers, there are a few simple tips to keep in mind. I put this into practice. Smile and maintaining eye contact. Be attentive to their response. And very important, be ready to introduce yourself briefly. Of course, we often think that networking comes more easily to some people, especially for extroverts. So I suggest to do an interactive exercise together. Let's create a profile of the ideal person for networking and relationship building. Take, I think, 2 minutes to write down your thoughts. So if you don't know how to use these sticky notes, just give a click on T, and then you can write down. input. I think we succeed. We created ideal networking profile. So yes, he or she should be relevant. She should believe in her product or services. For sure, communication is very important. A clear communicator across different mediums is a must. Be helpful, as I mentioned before, is very important for the person who wants to do relevant networking to help others, and it is two ways to give and learn. Share your interests. Yes, this is very helpful because you can approach a friendly way after the first interaction. Authenticity and genuine interest for sure is very important to be remembered. We must know the audience. Yes, this is another very important tool because it is important for a person who do network to be in the same picture. So yes, I think we succeed this interactive activity. We create the ideal profile for a networker. So thank you very much for your input. We will print screen and we will send to you to keep all in mind all these qualities. It is easy to write down these qualities, but for me sometimes it's the reality is that not all of us naturally possess these qualities. The good news is that networking and relationship building are skills that can be developed. So we should try to become better on this. The best way to do this is by attending events, of course, and to try to build connections gradually over the time. After this activity, I suggest and I propose even for all of us to self-evaluate and develop those skills that we lack or can improve. Thank you again for your very interesting input. Now let's change the topic. As I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, I have prepared two case studies. The first one is the Research Valorization Program, second edition, RVP 2.0. What do you think about RVP? I will give you some details about this program. Was a program run by Northeast RDA in collaboration with the World Bank in order to facilitate the transition of research results to the market. The objective of the program was to support the commercialization of research project results. The program ran throughout 2020-2021, and we targeted knowledge generators in our region as researchers. But what makes this program unique? It gives us personalized support based on each team's needs, a flexible learning piece for participants, hands-on approach to solving real-world problems, and also expert guidance from the specialist in business networking and funding. The research valorization programs follows structured multi-stage process as outlined in this diagram. It involves planning, launching the call, evaluation of the submissions, business development workshop, analysis of coaching and mentoring needs, individual coaching and mentoring sessions, and final demo day. And now I will provide a closer look to each stage. The planning phase for RVP 2.0 extends 3 months and focuses on key preparatory activities. During this time, the team involved in the project developed an information package and established the program's visual identity to ensure clear and effective communication. A dedicated section of our main website was created along with relevant content to provide participants all necessary details. Additionally, an expert team was formed, consisting of 4 specialists, 2 from Northeast RDA, 1 from World Bank, and 1 external expert. These experts offer guidance and support throughout the program for the researcher teams. Lastly, a database was developed in order to organize and manage essential information efficiently. The call for application was officially launched through social media channels, our website, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and we organize also an info day event. Northeast RDA sent informative invitations to our potential applicants, such as management teams of universities, research centers, and so on. The next step was the evaluation of submissions, which was carried out by the experts team. During this process, the submissions were assessed based on specific evaluation criteria, including coachability, market focus, market size, and intellectual property. The evaluation process was carried out in 2 stages. Stage 1, evaluation of all submitted applications, and stage 2 consists in interviewing all teams that submitted applications. In the end, 10 teams of researchers were selected. As part of the preparation for the selected teams, Northeast RDA organized a workshop aimed to improving the commercial potential of the proposed project with the support of the experts team. The main topics of this workshop were building an entrepreneurial mindset, gaining basic knowledge about market, preparing for market launch by managing the commercial impact of their research, also becoming familiar with the presentation model for private investors, and during the workshop they developed their business plan. Acquiring basic knowledge about intellectual property and its importance for the future investments, and also exploring potential next steps for the project, such as creating startups or spin-offs. In the next stage, an individual analysis of coaching and mentoring needs was conducted for each selected research team. The action plan submitted by each team to their project served as the basis of this analysis, and of course for the future discussions during the individual coaching and mentoring sessions. The coaching and mentoring sessions were conducted over a period of 6 months. Each team participated in at least 6 coaching and mentoring sessions. As a result, it was a very demanding period for researchers. During this time, out of the 10 initially selected teams, only 6 teams completed all the required activities successfully. So at the end of the program, we organized a demo day. Each research team gave a 5-minute pitch of their project. The event brought together companies in order to create chances for the future collaborations. Northeastern DA promoted the event across all communication channels. In conclusion, we consider the program was a successful one. The research teams identified several key strengths of the program. Basically, participants valued the practical coaching, the mentors' expertise, and also industry connections. Based on this positive feedback, we are planning to launch the RVP 3.0 in 2026 in order to continue supporting research innovation. The second case study is a local success story that we promoted through our initiative called Reporter Regio. The project is called Chicken Waste, and it brings an innovation solutions to waste management in the poultry industry. The project was funded through the Regional Operational Program 2014-2020, which supports innovative and sustainable business solutions. The total budget of the project was around 3.3 million euros. This initiative was a collaborative effort, bringing together an innovative regional SME and a very prestigious university from our region, which contributes with the research and expertise in developing effective waste management solutions. The innovative product developed through this project is called IdeaFertil. The need for this solution came from 2 key challenges. First, there was a significant amount of chicken waste produced on the farm, requiring a sustainable way to manage it. And second, farmers and local communities often complained about unpleasant odors when chicken waste was spread on the field. To address these issues, the team developed a unique regulated compost-based fertilizer. So IdeaFertil provides a sustainable and practical solution for both farmers and the environment too. By combining industry knowledge and academic research, this project aims to create integrated and sustainable waste management practice, benefiting both the environment and the poultry industry as a whole. So thank you very much for your attention and for your input to my activities. And now I am looking forward to any question or discussions.
Thank you, Cosmina, for your presentation. It was very interesting, I think, and it was very useful for personally me too. I would like to ask our participants to take your questions, please. I think more of you have more questions. Yes, Gab, please.
Unmute, of course. So my question would be connected to this last section, that is the project that you showed us when you help the researchers with coaching, mentoring, etc., etc. How long did the workshop take? Was it a one day or was it a series? And what were the key points of the mentoring process? Well, so what did they focus on?
The workshop was for one day, and our experts were
Cosmina, we
trying
can't hear you.
to give support to the researcher teams to create a business plan. The final meeting in demo day, they had to present a 5-minute pitch. So practically all this coaching and mentoring sessions aimed the same thing, the pitching, the final meeting, because the final meeting was very important for them, because there they were able to find the market. We invited some companies that was matching their fields of interests. So for them was very important to have a catchy pitch and to initiate future collaboration with the companies.
Mm-hmm. And are you following up with them? Is there anything?
Actually, I have no KPIs about their collaborations, but we aimed to do so before to try to prepare the next RVP program.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other question, please? If not, thank you very much, Cosmina, for your presentation. Our next presenter is Gal Kermendi from Central Transdanubian Regional Innovation Agency. The stage is yours, Gal. Go ahead with your presentation, please.
Okay, let's try to share the proper screen. I think that's the right one. And let's see whether, oh, okay, lovely. It even works. So, it is very good to see my old friends from NERDA again. Hello, Ovidio, and hello, Georgiana. It was great working with you, and it is great working with you again. I will kind of latch on to what Cosmina has just said, because my topic is also the power of mentoring and coaching within the business development system and business development initiatives. This is something that we've been working on for quite a while in the last years at Citria, and we also have some ideas concerning this. I do think that we will be able to work together on this. Frankly, I will. My only issue is that I can't really divulge all my secrets right now, because another presentation on this is coming up in August, so we need to leave some mystery for then as well. But even until then, I would really like to talk a bit about the basis of how and why we went for this coaching and mentoring initiatives and activities. So I'm going to talk about three main parts. First is the basic dilemma of business development. As you will see, it's quite trivial. Then a road to impact, and finally set dressing for success. I will stick to talking about this issue from the standpoint of a business development agency. So this is, I am not trying to move into specific examples at this point, and I'm trying to not switch viewpoints at all. But if you have any questions, I would be glad to do so at any point of time. Please, although I can't see any hands right now, if you wish to ask any questions, just shout, and I would be glad to answer them also while we're working through this presentation. If you want to make this interactive, I would be down for it. So, the basic dilemma of business development is, of course, that of effectiveness and efficiency. Both have their pros and cons, and both have their very, very severe limitations whenever we are designing a business development program or a business development activity. Efficiency, of course, considers budget constraints and scalability as a first point of order, and therefore it very much works with standardized materials, group sessions. It works for the highest common denominator, and of course, what rules is Pareto all the way down, which means that when we are considering efficiency, we are considering the 80% of all problems that we can solve or help solve with the 20% of the energy. Because as we are moving on, the rest of the 20% is going to take up the rest of the 80%. Therefore, efficiency is focused on, as mentioned, scalability, standardization, and dancing with legs tied, which of course is an interesting challenge and is always need to be there in order to make something worthwhile. But on the other hand, it may work against the issue of effectiveness, because effectiveness or the core rule and the core aspect of impact needs to be mission driven, and budget and mission very rarely mesh nicely. Mission needs to get to the place, needs to get to the result, and the result is mission does not accept result being however long my fuel takes my car. On the other hand, while efficiency prioritizes scalability and therefore prioritizes standardized knowledge and skills, effectiveness by necessity prioritizes very specific and tailored knowledge and skills, because it is a problem-focused approach. While efficiency as a main approach prioritizes grouped sessions and front-loading knowledge, effectiveness is, of course, working one-on-one in a tutorial system, answering the question and helping the clients along their own specific way of self-discovery and development. As the efficiency aspect by necessity works for the highest common denominator, effectiveness is always looking for a multiplicator effect. So while efficiency dictates that we should be looking to solve the most problems with the least cost or the least effort, effectiveness wants to solve the problems the most, if you will. So any problem that you start solving needs to be solved, and without care of the number. Impact rules. If it is solved, it's okay. If it's not solved, effectiveness cries. So impact and scale do mesh. In any program, any initiative, there is an organic interplay between the two. And of course, depending on the constraints we need to face, we do need to consider both hands, if you will. But as I trust, well, I don't know if you are in the same shoes as us, but in Hungary, definitely efficiency trumps effectiveness almost every time, because the constraints are too great to ignore for the mission. And this also means that whether we are talking about incubators or accelerator programs, what we see in the Hungarian landscape is all these generalized, horizontal, very much scalable programs that enroll the most people, the most startups, SMEs, etc., possible, and they provide them with a general knowledge that of course many of the enrolled SMEs will be able to use, but it's by no means tailored to them. And of course, this also means that if we are hooked onto efficiency all the time, we will not be able to measure the impact, because we are interested in the outcome and the results. The 3 levels of indicators do tell a very different story when we look at the 2 types of approaches. So this problem or this approach hits an obstacle or hits a problem when we are faced with bottlenecks within the SMEs. These bottlenecks are the issues, are the problems that are very much not covered by the 80% of standardized knowledge, and they need to move through past those obstacles in order to keep running. And this is something that necessitates a change in perspective, even within the most scalable, the most standardized program, let's say, or within a school, or within our projects and activities. And there needs to be some personal care taken to help the SMEs or startups get past their bottlenecks. And this is where this organic meshing or blending of the two colors suddenly causes one color to pop out of the other, and suddenly necessitates a more rigorous implication or implementation of the effectiveness principles. For the next couple of minutes, I am going to present sort of a model, but for mentoring, coaching, and in general, this one-on-one working together, because as we've seen in the last 2 years, at least in Hungary, while these are known, these are well, I can't say they are not utilized at all, but they are very much underutilized. In some cases, they are even stigmatized. So I'm going to try and work out why these one-on-one processes, these effectiveness and mission-based processes actually work and actually help with the even with the efficiency based, even within an efficiency-based ecosystem or an efficiency-based program environment. So oh my goodness, there we go. So the model I would try to advocate, and the model I'm using here is a very easy mnemonic: the road to impact, which is an acronym of the 4 key elements of what makes such an approach superior to a scalable horizontal one: relevance, ownership, actionability, and drive, of course. Relevance, we are talking about relevance of the knowledge, the relevance of the skills, the tailored nature of whatever is transferred to the client. In Britain and the US, whenever someone goes to testify in front of a court, they swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Well, in our case, we are sworn to transfer the whole skill and nothing but the skills needed. So this is a very, very dramatic change from the standardized approach. This basically bars the modular setup. This needs an expert and an expert with empathy to be able to resonate with the client and to provide the whole complexity of the situation, of all the tools, of all the possible actions in a simple and approachable manner that is applicable for the client. So I will come back to this sentence, to this notion several times, that we are talking about a human-focused and a problem-focused manner. So relevance means a paring down of all the knowledge that is transferred and figuring out a way to put all the necessary hooks out that the client will resonate with. And on the other hand, reversing these hooks and figuring out what they actually need. I am not going to go too deep into the issue of what is the difference between a need and a demand. That the gap between the two is very often a problem, and that needs to be deciphered and that needs to be handled. But at the same time, yeah, you need to have the necessary psychological and empathic training to gauge the needs and figure out how to move from the demands to the needs of the client. Because as Edgar Schein wrote it back in the 80s already, the client owns the problem. This is a solid and granite solid first law of any consultation or any development. Because the client, I may be a good consultant, I may know the sector, I may know the background, I may have all the tools to solve the issue that I perceive the client has. But at the same time, the client knows all the little details that I may not know. The client has been on their own journey and may have tried some of the tools that I would be flagrantly just suggesting to them. So I must not assume that I know the whole picture. The client owns the whole problem. They know the whole picture better than anyone. And on the other hand, or even possibly more importantly, they will have to live with the results. This responsibility of any consultant or any coach, mentor, business developer, whoever, that we come in, provide insight, and then leave. We need to handle this situation with the abject humility that this deserves, because we don't have to live with the results. The client owns the problem. They feel their own pain. If they say it hurts, it must hurt, whether or not we think it's a serious problem or a very surface one. And the idea that the client owns the problem makes it a very different picture whether we provide prescriptions to a situation that we perceive, or they, by their own processes, come to a decision internally. This provides them with the intuition to protect and develop their decisions. This provides them with accountability. This provides them with, when we come back to this issue later, with the necessary drive to go on. This is why it is never a good idea just to provide a prescription. Prescriptions do not stick. we can provide prescriptions in standardized settings because that's a light show. That's an overview of whatever we want to offer. That is a projection of our own version of the world, but it does not and cannot take into consideration the client's version of the world. However, if we are working one-on-one, this needs to be mitigated, this needs to be severed, and we need to engage with their reality, not force our own onto them. Because this is the only way that they will have an emotional connection to the solution, to the problem, to the process, and to the solution. And they will have the necessary pride to own the solution just as well the situation and the problem. So relevance and ownership does nothing without actionability. And actionability is something that, once again, at least in Hungary and at least in our experience and our research, market research, is something that a lot of these initiatives miss, especially because they provide standardized prescriptions. So actionability means that however complex the process, however complex the issue, the final point needs to be practical, and all the tools that are necessary to move on need to be available for the client, and the client needs to be comfortable in using them. There needs to be a clean and easy decision, a kind of trivial decision to, yes, I want to hit that nail on the head. That because that is what I think, I am convinced that will solve my problem, or at least move me on to the next problem. I am also, I am already showing you the confidence, the self-confidence of the client to act, because they are comfortable with the whole idea. And if there is a clear vision, a clear decision, that they see where they are going with that particular decision, not prescription, then they will have the ability to use their knowledge in new situations as well. They will have the ability to construe their reality in ways that going forward help them in adapting and using whatever they've learned, reaching back to their decision, their commitment that they've done, and prove once again and once again that they are able to do this, that they are able to take action and step away from rumination, step away from thinking of too large clouds of ideas, of problems, and figure out where to pull out the thread that will unravel the whole well, cloud. That's a bit of a mixed metaphor, but I wouldn't want to unravel a jumper of a problem, would you? Well, whatever. Anyhow, the fourth point, the D of the road is drive. One-on-one processes and effectiveness-based processes work well if and when they provide the the client with the necessary drive to go on. Not just the tools, not just the action, not just the ownership, not just the wish, and the will to go on, but they need to have that a bundle of motivation that will take them through the next couple of bottlenecks as well. This break-on through to the other side mentality is something that can only be really developed in a one-on-one, in a consultation or mentoring situation. This is not something that the standardized horizontal group dynamics can help with. I've referred to most of these points, and I don't really want to go into very deep into the psychology of motivation, but keeping up the motivation, which is a very fickle notion, and it can ebb and flow, it can go away, it can very much leave us at the worst moments and come back at the worst moments. But a properly conducted, effectiveness-focused process can provide a solid basis for the motivational backpack of the client that can help them drive through all the way to their next couple of goals and much closer to their vision. There are, of course, differences between mentoring and coaching and training and a bunch of these different activities. I think at this point we don't have the time to go very deep into them, although I will gladly elaborate on any of those. This is one of my favorite niches. The common thing is, the common notion is, as I mentioned, all of them are human focused and problem focused. So they focus on the client and not the program. In an efficiency-based setting, we focus on the program and its implementation. In these settings, in these effectiveness-based settings, we focus on the client and their problem and the solution of that problem. And the solution, definitely not in the way that we solve their problems, but it kind of dissolves and they will be able to step on. The difference is, of course, how much the different techniques focus on the internal processes and resources of the client. Of course, the different coaching paradigms are very strong in this side. Focusing on systems, that is very much for mentoring, providing clear frameworks to work with, and focusing on tools, that's very much while every single approach works with tools, trainings and mentoring works more with tools than coaching in this very narrow meaning. And of course, their focus on behavior and behavioral change varies as well. In some cases, it very much it can be very much of a longer line, of a longer segment, which moves from action focus than, on the other hand, of figuring out the next step and moving through that particular next step. So there are continuous dimensions here which need to be made explicit and which need to be taken into consideration whenever we are trying to work with our clients. Maybe they are not, maybe they don't need mentoring. Maybe what they really need is a solid life coach, even, not even a business coach, because the root of their problem, their need, is not what they think their demand is. And my final point is that this only works if the set is dressed up. In order to make any kind of effectiveness-heavy program work, there are a number of other points to consider, without which the results may be tangible on the unit, on the client, on the single client side, but at the program level, we miss out on a lot of possible very benefits and good results. Of course, caring, empathy, I've already mentioned that. It has been said in the previous presentation that familiarizing with the situations of the clients, getting to know them, getting to know their personalities, and matching the experts to those personalities is very important. Working through different, not completely meshing tutor client or expert client pairs, that needs to be made into an open and openable decision. One of our best decisions in our first program like this was when we decided that if someone is, despite all our efforts, is unable to work with their mentor, they are free to swap. And that worked out really well. Building trust, both as a program and as an expert. Personal connections work on trust. Therefore, this is, once again, this is something that is always said, but it always needs to be said, because otherwise the material constraints of any program can lead to making us leave out this very, very important phase, and this may be one block that causes our Jenga tower of business development to crash. Accountability, build in tools for accountability and options for accountability into your program. Let the clients reflect on what they want to do. Let them internalize their needs and their progress, and let them have positive and negative motivation as well to keep doing, to keep going. This, on the one hand, helps with more clients finishing the process, keeping up their motivation and hype, and all of them participating more intensively and contributing more intensively to the program. Group Valve. This is by this I mean that it is a very good idea usually to, even in these tutorial settings, even in these one-on-one settings, to let the groups, to let the clients form a group identity and let them vent together, let them exchange experience even during the process together. That very much strengthens their commitment to the program and helps them come the next time and the next time. Progress checks, cooperation and creativity, even while they are not while they are in the middle of their progress, give them opportunities to work together, riffing on each other and working with each other just loosens up such a huge amount of creativity that you can never expect. And they help not just solving each other's problems with all these, but they also start providing those multiplicator effects. They start working together on projects that you've never even dreamt of, and they never even dreamt of. They figure out their true value in comparison with the other members of their cohorts. Success stories, of course. And finally, this was why I actually asked back to this last point: network and alumni. Even if it's not a KPI in the program, this is something that, on the one hand, validates your program, helps the organic spread of your program. So they are very, very good for you, much better than any social media campaign. And on the other hand, they are very good for the clients as well, because they still have a trusted and solid peer group to lean on and work with and come up with new ideas whenever they next run into problems. There are quite a bunch of other considerations to make when building such a program. I think these are the most important. But all those ellipses down there, I'm very curious about what your programs had or did not have. So if you have any questions regarding any of our experiences, any of our further ideas, or if you want me to pontificate for another half an hour, just please ask. I will be happy to oblige. Thank you.
Thank you, Gal, for your informative and valuable presentation. It was very interesting. I'd like to ask our participants to please feel free to ask Gal. Borut, please.
Yeah. First of all, very impressive, how should I say, presentation. Let's say that we handle it daily. And it depends basically on also individuals that are handling the companies. We call it here fancy client journey issue, but then again, it depends, or what I'm interested in is one thing is that I personally can identify with the stuff you said, but then on the other side we have like a business model of our institutions. I know that I already checked you on the LinkedIn in between, so you're not from Stria, I believe. You are.
But I am working with Citria. I just haven't updated my LinkedIn
okay,
profile.
My bad then. But anyway, it always comes to the situation where we are saying that yes, doing this, it's very easy when you have I would say kind of a financial backline to support you, whether it's national funding scheme or there like vouchers, for example. And here I would like to ask how you are handling this in Hungary, since it's always, let's say, this difference between my boss being efficient and me effective. So this contradiction, but at the end, yes, you have to survive and you have to finance your operations. And so I would like to know how you're handling this in Hungary, and what's the ratio between these national funding schemes like vouchers or transnational projects where you can fund this through some pilot actions, or even commercially. How much of your actions like this consulting is done commercially that companies are really paying? Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good question, and I did try to start the presentation with that. Efficiency is not bad. Efficiency is necessary, and budget constraints will always be there. So, of course, and on the other hand, if they are not there, it would any solely effectiveness-based approach would fall apart. So there needs to be a balance between the two. Why I was focusing here on the effectiveness-based and on the client development side is because that is the much lesser utilized in everyday business development, because of scalability, because of high unit costs, because everything that you said. What we've learned, we did a fairly comprehensive mapping of incubators and accelerators all around the country, and there are even the mentoring there is done in group settings. So basically, we haven't found a single one that is operating a repeating program focusing on individual development. Every single one is standardized and front-loading. Make no mistake, they are very, some of them are really good at what they are doing. What we have started to do is trying to figure out the best way to provide services through this more human-focused approach. And on the one hand, we are doing some pilots, of course, in different European projects. And on the other hand, we are providing these as Yvette can tell you more about our European Digital Innovation Hub that has a business development focus, and therefore at least the start of these client journeys can be financed through that for a longer period. So we've been doing this for like a year and a half, and we are at the stage where we are starting to think about commercializing bits of the program. Because on the one hand, SMEs are, of course, usually very short on cash, but it is also a very well-known factor that once you put down money for something, you feel much more ownership and much more responsibility for that thing. So we are at the point where we are starting to, where the value is established, and we already have enough alumni or alums that can testify of the value. So our next pilots will be about working out these kind of co-financing schemes, or financing forward in some settings, or finding other sponsors, not just these European funds, etc., that we are able to work with. Because to tell the truth, coaching has quite a bad reputation in Hungary in general. Mentoring is something better, but it's still, for most SMEs, classified under the, yeah, we are just chatting moniker. So what we are trying to build here is a solid network of examples that can testify that this works. They have moved past their problems, and they are much more confident to take on new challenges. So yeah, that's where we are.
If I may go again, basically you mentioned one thing which is of interest, but also during the activity 3.1, where we are actually in charge, and I'm just doing this cooperation metrics of interests. I find your expose here very interesting for our institution as well, since we are having similar challenges, and I'm kind of striving for experiences and solutions, and what we can jointly, because you expressed as well that you are looking for kind of a follow-ups or further developments, and also to be funded through the transnational funding schemes like tenders. I have one more concrete question, then I finish. Mentoring in group setting. This is something that in Slovenia doesn't work. The problem is that they don't want to expose their vulnerabilities or pains in front of others, because somebody might see that they are like, you know, having an issue, or they could use it if they are competitors, stuff like that. So how you are handling these, I would say, non-disclosure stuff, disputes that can occur in such mass activities, or how do you address them concretely?
We don't work with group mentoring, but a couple of accelerators do. And these group mentoring sessions are organized as a kind of Q&A sessions with the mentor. The cohorts, the client can check in, and it's basically like a 1 hour long session where everyone can bring their ideas, their pain points, and they will get their 5 minutes of, or 10 minutes of fame within that framework. That's how it usually works.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any other question? Feel free to ask Gal, please.
Now I
No,
see you're
okay,
hungry.
Yes. Yes. So I'd like to thank you all for your active participation in today's training, and I think we have heard many interesting insights and had the opportunity to deepen our knowledge. And I'd also like to thank our speakers to accepting our invitation and delivering today's presentation. I wish you all a wonderful day, and we look forward to seeing you at our future training sessions. So goodbye.
Bye.
Viszlát.
Bye.
Goodbye.